Hey everybody, it's Hannah Fletcher, and joining me, I have Kayla Thompson. Welcome back to Shared News, you guys. We are going to be talking about the latest episode of The Kardashians. But before we get into it, make sure that you guys like this video, make sure that you're subscribed to us here at Shared News, and make sure that your notifications are turned on so you don't miss out on any of our future uploads. Now, Kayla, what did you think before we get into our conversation? What did you think of
Mhm.
this episode? Just initial thoughts and reactions.
Well, Hannah, my dear Hannah, I have to be honest with you and everyone here at Shared News live with us today. I was not really feeling this episode that much. I didn't dislike it, but I feel like it was a lot of filler, a lot of
Mhm.
fluff. And they're kinda, stretching things to give themselves some time for really some of the meatier stuff that maybe we'll get into next week. But not a bad episode, but, episode 3 is kind of the pacing's getting a little slow for me. What did you think?
I'm right there with you. I was a little bit underwhelmed when I saw this episode. I had a
Mhm.
couple moments where I kind of got into it, but I'll be honest, I watched the episode twice because it gave
Oh,
me the
wow.
opportunity when I watched it the first time, I started doing other things. I was vacuuming, and like I was
Mhm.
like watching it,
Mhm.
and then whereas the first 2 episodes, though, had my full undivided attention. Like, I didn't have a reason to start
Yeah.
vacuuming, I was just like, let me start doing that?" So the other 2 episodes had my attention
Yeah.
way more than this one did. But not my least favorite thing in the world, but definitely wasn't I
Exactly.
feel like it's a slow burn, and boy, it better be just building up. That's just where I'm at. I'm like, "Come on. Come
Okay.
on."
Give me something good. Give me something
Yeah,
good that
yeah.
we're building up to.
Also, like Kayla said, this is a friendly reminder, you guys, we are live. So please go ahead. Feel free to chime in at any point during the conversation. We'll kind of give a recap and talk about some key moments here during the episode and what we thought of it. But make sure that you guys comment and we might feature your comment. Feel free to agree, disagree, whatever you guys would like. And we'd love for you guys to partake in the convo with us. So comment, comment, comment. Let's go ahead. Let's kick it off with talking about this first scene with Kim and Scott. Now, I love the fact that Kim and
Mhm.
Scott were just hanging out more during this episode. I really like Scott. I like seeing him involved in the family still. What did you think about their
Okay.
conversation with them, like, first of all, do you like the 2 of them hanging together? Do you like Scott? And do you think that the conversation with Scott, and Kim, like, happening, he's talking about her dating and what that looks like and how
Mhm.
complicated that is. What did you think about that conversation and just their dynamic?
Yeah. Okay, so I have 2 separate thoughts. Let me,
Okay.
give you the positive. I like that Kim is being open about her dating life, where she's at, and we have Scott as, an avenue for her to express those feelings, express those thoughts. Now, do I think it needs to be Scott? I don't. I don't really
Mhm.
see Scott's Ooh, I don't mean to use the word value to the show, but I just feel like he's just he's just a scene partner for her to bounce off of, and I think it could be anyone that she's having this conversation with. I'd love someone who's maybe her actual who's Kim's best friend. Like, I don't
Mhm.
know. I just feel like Scott is weird. It doesn't really work for me. I don't really think they have I think Kim is, laughing, and it seems like, "Oh, it's cool, it's natural," but it doesn't really, the charm isn't there, the chemistry between them and hear me correctly, I'm not saying, romantic chemistry at all, I'm saying, just on screen together, it's just not really giving. I was
Mhm.
waiting for Scott to be really funny, but he wasn't really making me laugh, it was just really kind of awkward, random humor. I don't know, it just wasn't really I was kinda like I don't feel like I'm feeling it with Scott being back and so active on the show. I don't know, I'm not a fan. I don't hate it, but I'm not necessarily a fan.
Yeah.
So,
No,
what do you
I
think
see.
about what I think?
I love that. I love that you have because I feel like you and I tend to really agree on a lot of things. So I like that we have different kind
Mm,
of views on that. But overall, like,
that's true.
I totally see where you're coming from though, because I feel like Scott, the thing with Scott, I will agree with you. The thing with Scott right now with this show is it's definitely he's still sticking around because this is probably one of the main sources of income, if not the main source of income for Scott Disick. So I feel like
Yeah.
that's why he keeps
Yeah.
getting worked into the show. It is kind of hard to get that thought out of the back of my mind. And I will agree with you
Mhm.
too. I think
I
that
agree.
I like the conversation, but I think that I
Mhm.
personally thought that it would have been Chloe in this case. I really thought that if anything, maybe Chloe
Yeah.
would be the one to have the
Yeah.
conversation. And it's odd. We don't see Kim and Scott together solely alone, you know? And we'll I won't jump ahead too much, but later on we see the two of them together alone again, and I'm just like, okay, who wasn't available? Uh, you know, I think it's
Yes,
interesting to
exactly.
see
Like,
the
yeah.
two of them solely together. I like Chloe and Scott together. I think that they have the best chemistry for a scene for
Mhm.
whoever you could pair Scott with. But yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it was
Totally.
definitely interesting seeing Kim have that conversation with him. And I don't know, maybe not Courtney, and then I don't know if it would really resonate too well with Kendall and Kylie given where they're at in their life versus where Kim's at in her life.
Fair.
But
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
I
know
thought
where
the
Kylie was actually this whole episode.
shoot
Now that I
classic,
think about it.
classic, classic with a K. I can't. I get so mad because like as soon as I see Kendall and Kylie, they just zoop.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, man, I really like learning about them. They're
I
cracking me up.
know.
They
They were, pretty absent.
they are. Oh, yeah, I know. Also, this kind
Yeah.
of begs the question: does Kim have a best friend? Because we know that like Chloe has
I
Malika,
know.
and obviously
Mhm.
Courtney's got
Yep.
she's got Simon there. She's got obviously Travis is
Mhm.
her bestie, but I don't really know if Courtney had. I feel like Chris Jenner, if anything, that's who she seems to do a lot of
I
scenes with.
know, yeah. Chris and Kim are really, really tight. I mean, Chris is tight with all her girls, of course, but yeah, I
Hmm.
don't know. It's true. I mean, I think a lot of her team seem to be like some of her closest friends.
Hmm.
I don't know any of them by name right now. I
Hmm.
know we heard about Danielle later in the episode, but yeah, I think that maybe production, like just bringing back what you said earlier, I think production is trying to bring Scott in. I think the family is probably throwing Scott a bone by being like, oh, let's get Scott on the show, get him some like good
Hmm.
income going on.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say, I just remembered, the one thing that I liked that Scott said was like, you should be with someone, because I think I've said it to you before. Like, it'd be cool to see Kim with an older, like rich Italian
Yes.
businessman. And I was like, when
Yes.
he said it, I was like, yes, thank you. Someone
It's
says
like he
it.
sees it
And,
too.
of course, Kim is like, no, I don't want someone older. I'm like, oh gosh. But
Be too easy.
yeah, anyway, back to what you were saying. Yeah, back to what you're saying. I
Yeah.
mean, I know she had like the group of girls she went to Vegas with.
Hmm.
Um yeah, that just popped into my mind. I think it was like Lala, Anthony, some other girls, Kimora, Lee Simmons, but I don't know if those or are her besties, I would say. Maybe those are just some other girls that she's really cool with. But who was like Kim's ride or die best friend?
Yeah.
I don't know
Well, I remember
who
there was an
that
era
could
of
be.
like Larsa Pippen. That was a time, and then it seems like that kind of fizzled out, and they
Right.
might have even. I think they had a fallout
Yeah.
too, so now it doesn't seem like they're together anymore as friends. I
Oh,
liked Larsa though; I thought she was
okay.
interesting. But that's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, for sure.
I think that was
Mhm.
really her only bestie. So like tight knit
Yeah.
bestie. But
Right. Right. Exactly.
But I like that she was talking to Scott about the multi-dating thing and that he was like, "Yeah, you should be dating multiple people until you find the right person." You know, if she is going to put herself out there. But gosh, that's got to be hard to date it's hard to date multiple people in my opinion in real life. I've never tried it, but I feel
Mhm.
like that's a part-time job, you know, cuz it's like you got
Yeah.
to go to dinner with this guy, then this guy or whoever. And then in
Mhm.
her case, it's hard
Mhm.
enough to date
Yeah.
somebody, let alone have all the paparazzi. It's not like it'll be a secret if she
Right.
wants to keep it a secret with the multi-dating, you know. She would it'd be
Exactly.
very
I mean, she
public
brought
very
up the whole
quickly.
story. Yes, exactly what I was gonna say is she brought up that whole story about with Pete where, her
Mhm.
and Pete weren't together anymore, but just because she was well, she brought up two things. She was in New York and that's kinda she went to this kind of private club space where I guess her and Pete had been seen together before, and so they thought, "Oh, her and Pete are getting back together," type of thing. But then also
Mhm.
I thought it was interesting that she mentioned when her and Pete started dating, the media made it seem, even to her, like it was so serious, when in nature, it kind of wasn't very serious very fast. It was pretty just like, they were exclusive, but it was kind of chill, which is what the vibe we got from the tidbits of him in season 2 or
Mhm.
in yeah, or the last season or whatever. So I think that that's really interesting that even with that being said, it's like she wants to have this casual dating experience, but even just exposing the media to that could just kind of put more pressure on her, and it's tough. It's
It
tough.
is.
I think that, she's got to do it really really skillfully and kind of under the radar, of course. But she seemed to
Yeah.
be texting somebody later on, or
I
right after
know.
this whole
I
segment.
know.
So,
I love that she
you
was
know.
like, "It's okay to be sneaky," or whatever she said. I was like, "Kim, okay." I love
I
it.
love that for her.
She's so funny. I really do
Cute
like
stuff.
her.
No, yeah.
Um,
I do.
let's
I
kind of
enjoy Kim a lot.
let's shift gears. Let's kind of switch over. I want to talk about Courtney. So Courtney obviously had a lot going on. We know that she's been working on Lemmy. And
Mhm.
I can't believe she's been working on this for 5 years. That's a long time. That's a long time to just be working on one project. I can't believe it. I mean, I guess you had COVID built in there,
Yeah.
which I'm sure set it back to a certain extent too. But still, it's a
Mhm.
long time. What did you think of her with
Yeah.
the shoot for Travis and her, and they were doing the shoot for Let Me Fall
Yeah.
in Love and everything? What did you think of
Yes.
that clip there?
Yeah. Well, first, I have to agree. I felt like 5 years in the making is a long time, but then when she mentioned it was kind of a supplement,
Hmm.
health, wellness type of brand, I was like, okay, that makes sense. There's a
A
lot of
lot of
research involved. You have to
regulations.
create the product. It has to be like a lot of regulations. Yeah, it has to be, cleared, and you have to do scientific work. I'm sure there's chemistry involved. You have to get scientists in there. So I'm like, okay, I'll give her a break. Now the Let Me Fall in Love
Hmm.
concept in general of like, I'm curious what exactly she's holding it here in this
I
shot we've got on the
know.
screen. But it's a floral supplement that you put
It
in,
cracks
you
me
just
up.
drop in your mouth, and then it makes you opens your heart. I was like, okay, I need Courtney to like sit and explain this to me. um but no, I think whenever her and Travis together, you just they kind of just take over whatever they're doing. It's not even about what they're doing. It just becomes them. They have such palpable chemistry, and you just really feel how much they're into each other and in love, and
Mm.
it's beautiful that they're married. So I just was like, oh, this is in my brain. I'm like, they're just having like a couple's photo shoot right now. It's not about the product at all.
Yeah,
But I loved her hair also, by the way. The
me
90s
too.
style blowout was gorgeous. But but yeah, what were your thoughts?
I thought they were really cute. I'm also like, what the heck with the whole idea of how it works. Um, you
Yeah.
know, I'm interested in that. I will tell you, I have become very interested in
Mhm.
like the holistic side of things. Like I was recently in the desert and I picked
Mm.
up some Palo Santo and I never thought that lighting a stick on fire and walking around my apartment would bring good vibes, but it's been a pretty good week. So you know what? Sure. So
Wow.
I like the
Amen.
holistic side of things and I'm interested and now
Mhm.
I kind of like I want to try it just to see. I mean, I
I
don't know.
know, right?
It'd be fun. We'll have
Why
to
not?
order it at the
Can't
same
hurt.
time and try it. We'll do a live reaction to like all of the
Try it.
Lemmy. We'll give a live
Yeah.
review.
Let's do it. Actually, I'm really down to see what other
That's
products she has too.
that'd
So,
be fun. She has so many. I know she was
yeah.
mentioning the Lemmy matcha one, like that was her favorite. But I think she looked
That
really
was the one
cute
I
in
wanted to
this.
try.
Oh, the matcha one?
Yes. I agree.
Okay.
Yes,
That'd be
the
so
matcha.
fun.
I love
We'd
matcha.
have to do like one a day though. I guess we couldn't just eat it. We'd have so much
Yeah.
going on. We'd be like, "Whoa.
Have a bunch of supplements.
What is this?"
Right. But yeah, no,
That'd be
Courtney
so
looked
funny.
super cute. I thought it was a really cute
Mhm.
shoot. I love that she was
Me
having
too.
fun with it, and she seemed like in her element, so that was nice.
Mhm. I agree. Well, let's shift gears to oh my goodness, Miss Chloe. I really liked this scene. This was probably my favorite part of the episode. was the conversation
Mm,
that Chloe and Kris had with the baby, because
mhm.
her baby's so
Yeah,
cute. She's such a good mom. Um,
I
I
know.
love
She's so
that
sweet.
Kris was doing the digging for us. She goes, "How's Tristan?" And asking about how that whole thing is. And what is your opinion with the response that Chloe gave? She was very clear that like boundaries are in place. If she's not there, he's
Mhm.
there. It seems like she's very much aiming to not have any old habits kind of come back around into her life. Do you think that these boundaries will last? What's your prediction? I mean, I thought she was pretty
Mm.
convincing, but I'm really, really hoping that it sticks. Hmm.
I thought that she was pretty convincing as well,
Mhm.
but and I'm not gonna question her reasons for why she's allowing Tristan to be, like, at her house. I mean,
Right.
obviously, they have a new baby, so that makes sense, but,
Mhm.
at the same time, whatever, let me just get to my point. I think, like, the nature of it is what it is, right? They have kids, they're co-parenting, but, as long as she stays aware, I think it could go well, but with how I don't know, you give someone an inch, they're gonna take a mile, and Tristan gives that to me. He gives, "Give me an inch, I'm gonna
Yes.
take a mile with it," okay? And kind of she said it in her ITM. She said, "I'm sure Tristan has it in his mind at some point, I'm gonna take him back." And
Mhm.
I think she's probably spot on, and, the longer she kinda nudges if she holds that boundary, cool, but if she keeps nudging it further and further and further, she's gonna find herself probably reasoning with herself, "Well, I might as well just stay with Tristan. We have 2 kids together, and da, da, da," and it's just like, "Chloe,
I
I
know.
need you to put the foot down. When this baby gets old enough, listen, y'all need to be really separate households, like, send the
Yes.
kids." Not saying you can't ever
Yeah.
come over, but, like, send the kids over to him, and then you have them, and just because I think for her that that's necessary for their relationship to really be separate. So I don't know, but Chloe's just too nice. I mean, he's coming and hanging out with Kim randomly, earlier in the episodes back or so, and I don't know, it's just like they're too cozy and nice and kumbaya. Like you have to really I don't really see
I
them doing
know.
that.
I get
Chloe
that,
maybe.
like, I look at the morals and values of life, and I'm like, I get that you are supposed to ideally forgive and forget and move on and not hold grudges, and what kind of life is it to lead if you're going to hold a grudge and be mad at somebody. But I think there's also a territory that exists where like holding a grudge is not that bad. And I feel like if anybody's to hold a
Mhm.
grudge with anyone, I feel like she's deserving of doing that. And when I say, I'm not saying don't
Yeah.
talk to him, I'm not saying withhold the kids, but like you said, pick up and drop off. Done. He does not need a key to your place. You don't need a key to his place. Or if you have one, it's literally for
Right.
emergencies only. Like, and they live close
Yes.
to each other
Yes.
for a reason. I think they're
Mhm.
borderline neighbors. I think they're only a couple houses apart or something. They're very close. So it's like
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
there's no need. I
Absolutely.
think when you are entering someone else's household, it is a different ball game. I think if you just stand at the door and drop the kids off and pick them up, that's a different scenario. But I just
Mhm.
think it's different. It gives a different type of vibe. And
Yeah.
like you said, he's the kind of guy that he is going to he's I feel like he's always just gonna try to win her back. I don't know if he wants to change or
Mhm.
not, or why he can't change his ways or be a different type of
Mhm.
person. I haven't really
Mhm.
ever looked into him too much, but like
Mhm.
I don't know if he
Yeah.
wants to change or not, but I'm just like, dude, you can't do that. You can't keep toying with her.
Tristan gives Tristan gives like what's the word for it? I think it's he's young first of all, so
Hmm.
he's young and dumb, but I think he's I don't know, opportunist? Like, I think he probably sees they're
Yes.
Kardashians. They're always going to be famous. If I'm always attached to them, I'm always gonna have some type of fame on my name. And so if I can stay with Khloe Kardashian, I'm kinda good. Like I'm good to
Hmm.
go. Um, and I don't know, obviously we don't know him personally,
Hmm.
I'm not trying to talk bad about the guy. He has
No.
room to grow in his life. But it's like that's just kinda my read. I think that's why he kinda wants to get back with Khloe because it's like maybe it's a little about being with Khloe, like, she's awesome, but I think
Mhm.
a little bit of it is a good amount of it is definitely, I hitched myself to a Kardashian, I'm kinda set," you
Well, you
know?
have residual clout at
Which
that
is
point.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just kind of what it
exactly.
is. Even I feel like when Kris was asking her about how it is, I feel like the look on her face did she verbally supported Chloe, but the look on her face, I kind of got the vibe that Kris was in she's in the shoes of the audience, of the viewers, I think, by asking that question and the look on her
Mhm.
face, because she was just kind of like, okay, we'll see how that goes. Like, she didn't say that, but that's what I read on
Right.
her face when I saw her. She,
Mhm.
she can't tell Chloe what to do. Chloe's her own woman. She's got her own kids, her own home, her own bank account. Chris can't say much. All she can really
Right.
do is just offer her 2 cents, and if she takes it, she takes it. Um,
Right.
but yeah, so
Yeah, I
I thought
agree.
that was interesting
She was kinda
overall.
like,
I
"Okay,
I know
sure."
she's just patting the baby. Chloe's like, "Don't
Right,
bounce him," and
right.
she's just like sitting there. I love their dynamic. I love that.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Well, speaking of Kris Jenner, another part of the episode, I'm kind of just going more or less in chronological order, things that stuck out to me, but this one
Sure.
cracked me up. So we see Kendall in New York, okay? But then we hear Kendall
Mhm,
talking
mhm.
about how Kris was on she was on with Corden on a show, on his show, obviously before he stopped doing it, and she did a lie detector test, and Kylie asked her who the favorite daughter was, and immediately Kris was just like, "Yes, it's you."
Yeah.
Or what, it was like, "Oh, am I your favorite daughter?" And she was like, "Yes." And then the person just goes like this, and I was like, it's like, "You've gotta be kidding me."
I
Oh my
know,
gosh.
I know, I couldn't believe that. That's why it was funny because clearly, I think she probably says that to all of them, like, "You're my
Mhm.
favorite daughter," and, Kendall's like, "Okay, mom, sure." Like,
That was so funny.
no, Kylie's your favorite.
Yeah.
But then I feel like in the episodes prior, the way she talks about Kim is like very like Kim is like kind of one of her. I mean, I think they're all her pride and joy, but the way she talked about it in that moment in this specific episode, I was like, oh, like Kim is really her pride and joy. So I think she feels
Yeah.
that way about all of them, and it's like a funny kind of like a joke,
It's a joke.
But it's so
It's
Chris
so
of her
funny.
as well. I don't know what it is
Oh,
about
I
it, but it's just
know.
so Chris of her to have that to say that.
It was so funny. I like that we got to see Kendall kind of getting glammed up. I don't think I've seen Kendall get like glammed much before for some reason. I don't know
Mhm.
why. Am I wrong? I could be wrong. But I feel like
I
we've
mean,
seen them
girl,
all getting
we don't
glammed
really
up,
see
but
Kendall
we don't see Kendall
we
much
don't
at
really see
all. So
Kendall at all. So her and Kylie are like, supporting characters on this show
they really,
a
really
little
are.
bit. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's I kind of wish we got to see more of what she was doing in New York. I was curious about that, but
Well, she
um
mentioned she had like an event
yeah.
and something else going on too,
Mhm.
but we just saw her leaving and
Some
getting in the car.
modeling
We
stuff.
didn't see it after that.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, dang it.
I don't know why
I
not.
was like, girl, I know.
Instead,
I just want to see
we
more.
had Kourtney and Travis with her socks falling down in New York City. I was like,
Was
okay.
what the heck? Yeah, let's so that was so Courtney and Travis, they were stomping around New York. They're funny. Now Courtney did a really good job though with her press though. I was glad that she got through it. I really
Mhm.
like when she went on the Today show, um how she was talking about having her own thing. I didn't ever really think about the fact, cuz she has Poosh, right? But I guess she doesn't have I never
Yes.
thought about the fact that she didn't have her own product line like everybody else does. And apparently she really got some flack for like not having that from, I think it was, she said, Kim and Kris. Um and I thought that was interesting that
Mhm.
like she would get that kind of a level of flack from them for not having her own product, because she is a mom, and I feel like she's one of those people that some people exist in the world that grow up and say that they want to be a mom, and I feel like that's what Courtney did, and she did a good job at it with raising her kids, and
Yeah.
now she has her product. But I'm glad that she opened up about that. Did you know that personally, that, like,
Mhm.
she was getting judgment from Kim and Chris? Because I didn't know that. I felt like that was a new nugget I
I
learned.
didn't know that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I think, there was a, I can't remember if it was this early. I always, me, I'm always mixing up. When did that happen? And was it that
Oh,
last
yeah.
season or was that
I
this
know.
season? But there was a moment where Kim kind of had like a throwaway line where she was just kind of like, "Oh, well, we work really hard," and she was like comparing Kourtney and
Mhm.
Courtney's kind of like day to day, maybe her career, her businesses, whatever, to like how hard Kim is working or whoever else, maybe Kendall or someone like that. And Courtney was really, really offended. And I think maybe that's where that is coming from, of like a past judgment that they've had about Courtney not having as much businesses out there, or what
Mhm.
you're referring to. But I don't know. I feel like, with that being said, in my opinion, I don't think that that's to Courtney's detriment. I think it's actually to her benefit, because she has this awesome marriage. She has beautiful kids. She has a very, very healthy relationship again with Travis. And to each its own. I don't know, like, everyone's journey is different, but Kim's love life has not been great. Like, so I don't
Yeah.
know. It's like, what are their priorities? They're a little, maybe we can say they're a little different, but Courtney's in a really, really good place in her life right now. So I don't really see any issue. I think she's doing really well for herself, and you
I
know.
think I think
But
this whole line is gonna be a hit. I mean, I've seen it um out and
mhm.
about, and like I think I don't know if it was with you or with someone else, but like I didn't even know that that brand was
Mhm.
hers until I started watching the show, because I think I've seen the gummies either online
Oh.
or in person somewhere, but I saw them and I was like, oh, that's
Mhm.
interesting, and then I was clicking on it, but I had no clue that it was even her product until I watched the show,
Wow.
and then I put two and two together. um
Right.
so I'm glad that she has something for herself like that, but I don't see why they were so like about it either. I mean, she's got a lot of kids too. Like, I would
Yeah,
rather be present and make sure that my kids are taken care of, and then I'll take care of my. You want something to do
absolutely.
once they're in their like teenage years, they don't, they still need you, but not like they do when they're little. So you'll want something to do for yourself. So then you develop a company in addition to what you already have going
Absolutely.
on with the rest of the things, you know? So
Exactly. Kinda makes sense to me. I don't know. And you're a
yeah, same.
Kardashian, like, Courtney's got a lot of money
Yeah,
probably coming in from a lot of random endorsements, influencer stuff, like, projects she's a part of. She was in that He's All That movie, like, last year. I don't know,
that's
she's
right.
doing stuff. It's
Yeah.
not like she's not doing things,
She's
So,
yeah,
it's like, give her a break.
I know.
She's just in
I know.
bliss with her relationship.
She looks so pretty in that shot too. I love everything about what she's wearing, her
Love
hair, I
that
thought she
look.
looked gorgeous. Yeah, it was great.
Obsessed.
I know, and
Yeah.
then her mom told her that she was proud, and she looked so happy when Chris told her that too. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I
Mhm.
love it." I love that no matter how old you
Yeah.
get, like, there's nothing like your mom being proud of you. I think that's great.
It's so
Um,
true. It's so true.
Speaking of moms, I thought that this was a really cute part. So obviously Kim and North have been popping up everywhere on my for you page. I love that like North went with Kim to the Met. This part in the show where Kim was getting dressed up as this alter ego Annika. I loved seeing North playing with, like, her mom, and, like, she's getting look at this! Look at her. She does not care,
I
like, that
know.
she's got prosthetics and this makeup on. Look, she's got all different colors on
Yep.
her eyes. I love that, like, she's letting North
Listen.
play with her. She's a good mom, you know?
Yes. She really
Mhm.
is. And I think I love that. I mean, look, what North is getting into with prosthetics and special effects makeup, like, that's a great space for her to be in. I think that's actually a
Absolutely.
really cool avenue for her to take, like, with her, both of her parents being very big creatives. That's such a
I
cool
know.
thing for her to be into as as like a preteen, or how old is she? 9? Whatever,
She's
like a
9, I
kid.
think, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and she's not I mean, she probably has, like, the best practice prosthetic kit, makeup kit there is to get, but, I mean, it's really not bad. It's actually was pretty good. Like, Kim looked completely different. She's got, all the special stuff, the headwear to wrap her hair. She
Looking
put a wig on. I mean, it was great. But, yeah, I think seeing Kim not be I mean, she's one of the busiest of all of them,
Mhm.
right? If not the busiest, you could argue. And she's just letting loose with her kid, not getting like she's not in this, no, I'm busy, I'm doing stuff, whatever, I'm working. No, she's like, sure, North, come tear my face up and we'll
Mhm.
go scare your little sister and it'll be fun. Like, I love that. I love that Kim can kind of just get her hands dirty or I don't know, get down to earth with her kid, like get her, just be with her kid and be present. Like, it was cool. It was
Absolutely.
really sweet.
I love that
Yeah.
because,
Not sure about
I'm
Scott being
always
there, but it was really
it
well done.
cracks me I'm like, "Scott, what are you doing?" Um,
Why?
he's just like, "I gotta shoot with somebody. I'm here. I have X amount of days and hours
Gotta
that I
be
gotta
on
cross off the
screen.
list. Um, put
Yep.
me where you need me." Love Scott. I'm like, "What are you doing?" Um
Yep.
No, I love that she just let her play. You know what? I just got to thinking as you were saying all of that. I know that Kim is going to, I think she already shot it, right? For American Horror Story. I think she was shooting that like a couple months ago.
Oh, that's right.
So I hope
That's
that she
right.
took North to set. So imagine
Yes.
hanging out with the special effects team for a show like
Oh
that.
my
That would be really
gosh.
cool. So hopefully
She
she
was probably
did
losing her
that.
mind. I'm sure she did. I'm
Oh
sure
yeah, I'm
she
sure.
I mean, she loves taking North with her on, like, work trips and stuff. We've seen her do that
She takes
before,
North
so I mean,
everywhere. It's so cute.
American Horror Story definitely is, yeah, you gotta be careful about what scenes she's in on, because that show can get really wild. But, I'm sure she has other people with her and everything. I can just see
Yeah.
her get all what I don't know what her character is, but
We
just be
don't know
there for, like, the hair and
anything.
makeup for that would be really cool.
That would be really
Yeah,
neat.
I don't know much about what's going on with that season, but
Me
yeah.
neither. I just know that people were like, I'm hoping she plays a version of
Mhm.
herself. That's the way that I think that she won't get any type of backlash for that, or minimal
Yes.
backlash. You know. Um.
Right. Some type of just not necessarily playing herself, but I think I see what you're saying, like, just a character that's not far off from how she already is, maybe,
Right.
or
Yes.
just some type of minimal side character cameo is probably the extent of what acting she needs to do.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. But I think they're really cute. I love that they were playing together, and I love that we're able to see that. Um, I just think that they have a really great mommy daughter relationship, and I just think it's super cute, super
Mhm.
refreshing. Um, one of the things that I've always been kind of wondering about with the Kardashians is like, because we don't see the kids too often. I'm just like, man, I hope those kids aren't always with some type of handler or nanny. And it looks like they're not at all. And I love that. I love that
Yeah.
they're literally like, they're with whoever they need to be with while their moms are working. And it looks like as soon as the cameras stop rolling, if they're not a part of the shoot that day, that they're right there. And I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah. I love that too. I didn't really make note of that, but that's a really good point. You always see the kids around.
Mhm.
Um, and if they weren't around, it would be you would be at some point we'd be like, wait, y'all have
Yeah.
kids. Where are the kids at?
Where are
So
they?
um yeah, but I know North goes to school and things like that. And so but
Yeah,
yeah, they all have like young children and are still able to, from what we can tell, be very present as well as busy as they are. So it's cool that they were able to
definitely.
balance that.
Well, speaking of Kim, what do you think? I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this one. So we saw that she was starting to give um, notes, and this is more towards the end of the episode, obviously. But we saw that she was starting
Mhm.
to kind of give some notes for the Dolce and Gabbana situation. She mentioned that she's like really adamant that she wishes that there was just more time between the wedding and the opportunity that's at hand, and what's your whole take on this whole Dolce and Gabbana thing with Kim? I think that she's going to be a great creative director for it. I think it's very fascinating
Mhm.
that Dolce is like doing this whole collection basically centered around her. Like her
Yeah.
name's going to be on the tag. She said, I think that that's incredible. But I don't know. There's still nothing going on with this
Incredible.
feud. But what are your thoughts on this whole chunk
Yeah.
of the episode involving Dolce?
Yeah, I mean, to speak directly to what you're talking about, I think that you know, this is a big opportunity for Kim. It really, really is
Mhm.
because she kind of differentiated, what this kind of the stakes that this holds for her is this will be the difference between I can wear the clothes and I can kind of design, create and operate in that kind of like no, I'm
Mhm.
orchestrating like a fashion, being in charge of creating what I put on or what I put on people. And I think those are two different things. And she's right. Like, so this is a big deal for her to have been given this opportunity and to do it well is, it's definitely riding. I could see where she has feels the pressure, but I think my presumption, there's the word, is that Courtney's doesn't have an issue with Kim working with Dolce. There was a moment in the episode where they came and it was early. It was like when she was
Mhm.
doing her shoot. They came out
Mhm.
there, saw her, and she in the ITM was talking about her personal relationship with them. And I think they put it in there to really, and I think Courtney said it to kind of placate or kind of settle. I'm secure in my relationship with them. I go to their house every summer. We're cool. I've been friends with them for like 5+ years or whatever it was. Like, we're good. And then she even mentioned, "Oh, you're gonna go see Kim?" Like, she knows about it, right?
Mhm.
She seems cool with it. I think what we're seeing, and then we're gonna see it next week, is the issue is maybe some of the designs question mark or the ideas seem to be just straight copying some of Courtney's ideas or the kind of, I guess, creative direction of her wedding, and maybe that's her problem. What do you think about what I'm putting
I
together
think
here?
I know, because it's like it seemed very chill. Like Domenico
Yeah.
walked in, like you said, and she's like, "Hey," I mean, it's very. She's totally aware of the situation. Where I think it kicks up.
Mhm.
I think what you said. I think that that's potentially a factor. I also think they showed. I think in the preview for the trailer, it was like, what was it? It was she's mad. She's mad at everybody or something like that. She's mad at
Okay.
it was like Kim being like, "Oh, she's mad." And then I think somebody said like she's mad at you, at Chris, at everyone, something like that. I think that it's going to
Got
be
it.
more along the lines of the fact that this was I think she's going to be more mad about the fact that this was like a meeting that Kim and Chris kind of talked about cuz remember I think it was in the first episode Kim and Chris did talk about this.
Mhm.
Kim brought up the timeline.
Mhm.
Chris didn't really seem to care. She thought it was 6 months out. It was only 4 months out. That's how much Chris Jenner cared. She's looking at the paycheck. She's smart. I mean, she's a
Yeah.
businesswoman.
Yeah.
Um, and then I think that it's gonna be like, oh well, you and mom talked about this without me knowing. Like you guys actually had a
Mhm.
meeting. Like this wasn't
Mhm.
just Domenico coming to you because he saw you from my wedding and reaching out because of that. I think it's not like I think there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than Courtney's aware of, so I think that that's what she's going to end up getting mad at.
Got
That's my
it.
prediction.
That they're withholding things from her because they're
I
kind of
think
tiptoeing around how she'll feel.
I think she's going to get more yes, I think she's gonna get more mad at Chris Jenner and take it out on Kim, though. I
Mhm.
think that that's my prediction because she just seems so
Mm.
unbothered by it right now. She really does. It does not seem
Mhm.
like the feud that they were
Mhm.
hyping up in the trailer. So something's gotta tick and
Yeah.
give, and I think that that's where it's gonna start to crumble. Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun.
I I I'm interested. I'm really interested to see
I
it
want
and,
it. I wanna see it
I
so badly.
I know, I do. I wanna see kinda what happens. I think that's where it's entertaining when you see there's rifts and you wanna see how they get through it, and even, like, Kendall being there while Courtney is kind of getting emotional about it, kind of yeah, all the them all being involved and figuring out, "Okay, how do we fix this?"
Have you ever
Um,
noticed that it's like
so I think
Courtney
that'll
and
be
Kendall
intriguing.
I feel like they're always kind
Mhm.
of running on the same type of plane. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like those 2
Yeah.
get along very well. They're interesting to me that
It's
their
true.
dynamic.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's beginning for me to be a little ambiguous of who's the closest to who, because it seems like they all
Hmm.
kind of call each other and are, whatever. Kendall, I feel like I always see a lot of them calling FaceTiming Kendall a lot.
Hmm.
But I don't know. It's weird. And you don't see Kylie for a while. So you're like, okay. And then it feels like whenever you do
Yeah.
see Kylie, like even in the next episode, it seems very a contrived scenario of them hanging out with Kylie, one of them doing, I don't know.
With the
It's
horses.
interesting.
I love that, like,
Yes.
they
It's like,
have a
okay, you guys are just
recreational
riding horses
scene,
randomly.
and that's Kylie's,
Yeah.
like, last time it was driving stick.
That's
Now they're
Kylie's
gonna ride
storyline.
horses.
Yeah. It's
Cracks
it's
me up.
really random to me. It's kind of
It
odd.
is.
Maybe my assumption just on this note, I was thinking about this earlier because I was like, why isn't Kylie in this episode at all? And I started thinking, I'm really fuzzy on timelines, obviously, as you guys can probably tell when it comes to the Kardashians and the filming of the show and what we're seeing now and what's being aired. But maybe at the
It's a
time
lot.
of filming is when things were really not going well for her and Travis. So maybe she wasn't wanting to be filmed a lot that's where my brain went, but correct me if I'm wrong on the time of that, I guess.
I don't think
What do
so.
you think?
I think you're
Okay.
I think you're on track for that.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
mhm.
So yeah.
But yeah,
Hmm.
so I don't
Maybe
know.
that's it then.
I'm not sure. So these 2 crack me up. I just wanna see especially more of Kylie. Because I feel like Kendall's
Yeah.
starting to come into the show a little bit more. It looks like the next episode she's involved. And on this thought, this is kind of the last note that I have, but
Mhm.
what the heck is Kendall? I am so confused with Kendall talking about the
I know
pregnant
exactly what you're
thing.
talking about already.
What the heck?
Yes, that part. I was gonna ask you, what the heck is she? Because
I don't
you
know.
know way more about what goes on with them than I do. I'm like, wait, did I miss something? Like, was I
I
not paying
have no
attention
clue.
fully to the last episode? Like, what? But okay, so here's my thing. I think that it's a total red herring because obviously, if Kendall Jenner was pregnant, we would have seen her be pregnant on, out in the real world in the past, like what, 9 months, So I didn't
Mhm.
even mean to say 9 months is pregnancy, but yeah, in the past, whatever, after filming or, you know.
Yeah.
So I think I don't, I think it's a total red herring. I think it's to throw us
Mhm.
off.
I think
What do
so
you
too.
think it is, though? It's probably something random.
I'm sure it's definitely not gonna be it can't be her actually being pregnant. Also, she's kind of made it abundantly clear, I feel like, that she is perfectly fine with being Auntie Kenny for quite some time. I don't think that she's in any rush to have
Yeah,
kids especially out of everybody else, obviously. I think that it's gonna catch us
right.
off guard. And I think if anything, it's gonna be someone or someone that we're not expecting. You know what I mean? Or
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel
Okay,
like
well,
it's not
maybe
her, you know?
maybe it's her. Hear me out. Maybe it's her
Uh-huh.
horse because they're riding horses. She has her own horse, right? And she's talking
Oh.
so gleefully about it, and they ask her so just blatantly, "Oh, so how's the pregnancy going?" Like they wouldn't just ask her that. You know what I mean? That's a
Well,
really if
and
it was really you,
she ends it on that little smile.
that's the only thing I can think of. I know, but maybe she loves her horse.
I
I
know.
don't know. Who
No, no,
knows?
no, I think she did it on purpose. I think she knew that they were gonna, like, cut it and edit it like that or whatever, so
Edit like that, exactly. So my guess next week when we come back next week, my guess is gonna be it's her horse.
Okay. Alright. Alright, I will
Yeah, that's what I'm
I'll join you
projecting.
on that. I don't think it's her. I really don't. There's no way. I mean, we
No, it's
would have
definitely not
known
her.
something by now. I mean,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
it's not her. They They're just trying to give us
No
the
question.
cliffhanger, and boy, it works. It works so
Just
well.
trying to throw us off, and I'm
I
like, yeah,
know.
because I was like, oh wait a minute, what?
I know.
But yeah,
I'm like, guys. Oh my gosh. Well, all in
hmm.
all, I think any final thoughts on anything involving this episode or how you feeling about the season so far? Is there anything that you're yearning for?
Yeah.
Anything that you could do without?
Hmm.
Anybody that you're hoping to see? Where do you stand? We're maybe a
Yeah.
quarter of the way in now, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think listen, the first 2 episodes pretty strong. Starting the middle, you kind of get a little slow, a little bit, trying to
Mhm.
kind of stretch out the storylines, like I was saying before. And I think my thing with the Kardashians is it's like 50-50 for me. It's like it's a cool show because they're like these elite celebrities, right? That we get to watch on a reality show and see kind of sneaks into like
Mhm.
behind the scenes of their life. And that's just really cool, and it's kind of an escape. But sometimes I feel like because they're maybe so busy or they're so elite or they're very obviously involved in what is they're executive producers, so they're involved in what's filmed and not shown and things like that. I feel like sometimes the editing is weird. Like there's things that we're clearly not seeing, like Kylie not being in the whole episode or just the way that they kind of produce certain things. It feels a little like lackluster to me, and
Mhm.
maybe things can just be a little bit more creative of constructing how like some storylines of like them being together and following certain people of maybe events they have going on. I don't know. I'm just kind of like, why are we not seeing what Kendall is doing right now? Why are we not
Right.
seeing this? Whatever. But it's weird though because let me not go on a whole rant about it. But I
You're
think
fine.
because they're involved in these brands, these endorsements, maybe there's certain things they can't show. So it's weird, but sometimes I just feel like it's a little like where I'm kind of getting thrown all over the place a little sometimes, or I'm just like, where are we in time right now? Like,
Yeah.
what's happening? Like, how much time has passed since the last episode versus, or maybe like, was this shown? Did this scene happen like months after that? I don't know. You never know how they clip it
Well,
together. So feels a little ambiguous, but yeah,
yeah,
if
I
that any
agree.
of that made any sense.
It does because it's like the difference of their reality show versus like a competition reality show or like, like a Love is Blind or something
Mhm.
like that. We don't
Right.
they're a public figure aside from their reality show, due to their reality show. So the problem is everything gets all jumbled and we kind of know some of the answers, but then we find out that there's a whole slew of problems that we didn't know about. But when you go and
Yeah.
look at reality shows, we don't know anything about the people before the season comes out. They're contractually obligated to not
Yeah.
post or say anything up until certain points when they're given the green light to be able to post and say things and then set the record straight on what actually happened. With these guys,
Exactly.
we're
True.
constantly seeing headlines no matter what. So, of course, it's natural for us to get more
Mhm.
confused because this all happened so long ago. And like I said, there's things that we know, there's things that we don't know, there's things that we're like, we know that it can't be Kendall that's pregnant, right? More than likely not.
Right.
So
Exactly.
that's where it just gets
Yeah.
confusing. But I think they're doing a
Yeah.
great
It's like
job.
why
I
even put
really
that in
do.
there?
Yeah, I like this season. That last episode, I'm hoping that it picks up pace. I mean, not every episode is going to be like edge of your seat, right? This one certainly wasn't, but they have to
Mhm.
have it, I guess, to move the timeline along. I'm really hoping for next
Mhm.
week that we really start to see into this feud. I want it.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it. They put it in the teaser trailer and they hyped it up. I mean, all
Right.
both trailers that we
They
saw were
did.
the drama, the drama, the drama. Bring it, ladies. Let's go.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm looking for
Yeah,
when they
especially
started
right off
swatting
the
at each
heels
other all
of
over again.
oh my gosh, I know. But no, I think even like I think we didn't mention it yet, but even the fact that Kim is already kind of dealing with the stress of this whole thing the minute she touches down in Milan with her stylist not being there with her, and it's kind of
Right.
this sense of this asset that she has creatively and as a fashion person, influencer, like it's a big deal that her stylist is not there, and it's obviously really tough for her. So she has to seriously just make all these decisions pretty much on her own. And
Mhm.
next week we're kind of seeing Domenico being like, "What do you mean this is beautiful?" And her being like, "Okay, okay, yeah, it's my bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's cute. The glasses is mad cute. I love it. It's like
I know.
it's so adding Courtney's, you know, her the tension with her. It should be interesting.
I think so too. I think it's gonna get really good. So fingers crossed, but thank you so much for joining me today. As always, I love rehashing the Kardashians with you. They're so fun. They're
Yes, of
so
course.
entertaining. So thank you for joining
Yes,
and thank you
absolutely.
to Of course, thank you to everybody for watching. Make sure that you guys like this video if you haven't already. Make sure that you guys are subscribed with the notifications turned on. That is super important. That way you don't miss out on any of our future videos. And make sure that you guys leave a comment down in the comment section below talking about maybe your favorite moment, what you guys would like to see, anything in regards to what we talked about and what we said. We love to read what you guys have to say. So, yeah, thank you guys so much, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.